Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. Don't worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Good morning. I hope you're feeling okay. Hope you guys are surviving after one less hour of sleep. Oh,
I absolutely dislike daylight savings. I understand and I will say too, living in Georgia, it made no sense really because there isn't that much difference in the darkness. But here, a little bit closer to the pole, yeah, I can tell. It's dark, dark, but it's dark, dark already. Come on, it's not going to be that big a deal. So yeah, making sure spring because all the kids get up earlier, and boy, that's fun. That's all fun. And always everybody's, well, in the fall, they'll get to sleep in a little, well, and that's not what's going to happen, though. My kids aren't going to take that hour to sleep in. I want it, but my kids will be like, no, I'm awake. I want to be awake today, the one day that you could have slept in, Dad. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and
I don't
two,
like it.
the trick that I've always been told about, kind of getting your kids ready for daylight savings is right before you do dinner, you flip the clocks. So, you spring me
Nice.
forward. So you
Yeah.
you hit the clocks and send them forward an hour, and that way you can send the kids to bed an hour early because they're not paying attention to the clocks most of the time. So especially the younger kids, and so that's what we do here at the house. It
Yeah.
tends to help. It really does. I mean, it gets them in bed an hour early, so makes it a little bit nicer from that standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. And if you can convince them, then you're
I
set.
mean, yeah.
I,
Oh
I,
well.
I,
Yeah.
to this day, I still tell my kids, no, bedtime is when I say bedtime is. I know we're supposed to be in bed at this time. I do give you a time. And like my older kids, they're at a point where they're on their own schedule. If they can get themselves up in the morning, they can stay up as long as they want. As long as they make it to school, take care of their schoolwork, you can stay up till midnight. I don't care. But the younger ones, we got a set bedtime. However, you're all subject to it's going to be a time change. You got to go to bed earlier. Just,
Yeah.
I can't, I just can't. Every year I'm like, oh my God, why would we do this? But evidently it has something to do with golf courses.
No. What? Golf
Hmm.
courses. I've
Yeah.
heard no, I thought it was farmers is what it was originally set up about.
Yeah. But the reason it's still going, I've heard.
So you're telling me that there's a lobbyist from the golf association that is arguing to keep this happening?
Yeah.
That's I don't know how I feel about that.
Now I heard that from incredibly intelligent person, but also plays a lot of golf.
Was it
And
Greg?
no, you don't know him. It's my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Greg, who? Which Greg?
Greg
There's a
from
lot of
Madison.
Gregs. Clap.
Yeah, Clap, yeah.
Greg Clapp, if you're listening, do you think you're a very intelligent person? If I was going to say I knew a guy close that was very intelligent, would it be you, Greg? Greg is a source of compassion, understanding, and wisdom like nothing else I've seen. But I don't think he'd be the one that to go down a rabbit hole on why daylight savings time still exists. I mean, I could be wrong. He could be way more closer to like my neurodivergence of, oh yeah, we're going to learn everything about this. But
Well, I
I
just
don't
know
think
he's a
so.
golf guy.
I
That's my
think he's
thing. I just know he's
balanced.
a golf
There you
guy.
go.
So that's why I figured
Yeah.
out. But yeah,
But I do love you, Greg. But
well, anyway, regardless of all of that and all of our, ugging and sort of like just not excited about daylight savings time, it's March. We've hit the third month of the year. Oh my gosh.
oh,
And we're, just around 200 days
mhm.
ish to go till Home Dad Con.
Home.com 30. Yeah.
So that's coming around real quick too, which is awesome. The month of March holds a lot of different like special days and some special weeks. I mean, we talked about last week how, there's spring cleaning week coming up at the
Hmm.
end of the month. Of course, everybody likes, or well, everybody tends to enjoy in some way, shape, or form. However, it is seems like St. Patrick's Day for different reasons. Maybe not everybody, but
Green
a
beer.
decent amount. Green beer, yeah, just all
I
kinds of
mean,
green things.
and I'm going to say it's Wisconsin. So there's going to be a lot of green beer.
Yeah, a lot of green dye in your
Hmm.
beers. So
Yep.
yeah, which that's one way to go with it. I'm more of a give me like an Irish red, a Guinness, a true, give me some true Irish beers. That's what
Not so
I
Americanized.
no, no, I don't need a see-through beer that gets, green dye dropped in it. That's not my
And
go-to thing.
I don't miss getting pinched
Oh gosh,
because
getting
I
pinched.
I never celebrated St. Patrick's Day, right? That just wasn't, you don't do that in a cult. And yeah, I wouldn't wear green. Unfortunately, I had green eyes and a couple of them let me get away with it. But I have not heard from any of my children that's still a thing, that you get pinched if you're not wearing green. And I'm like, this to me is progress. This to me is we are becoming more civilized, right?
Yeah, unless you get
You know,
around
I
my
studied
mom, and then
I
if you're not
studied
wearing green.
war so my kids could study what was the next finance so their kids could study art. Okay, we're already in the art part where we're like, no, I wouldn't pinch you. That's just mean. But I did notice you weren't wearing green today, and then we'll have some type of philosophical discussion about it. Yeah, that's what I want. My
Yeah,
kids
that's
do
what
it.
I want to.
Yeah,
Definitely.
civilization. But yeah, St. Patrick's Day, I think, is probably the most obvious. If anybody says, what are the holidays in March? Especially, being in America, it's going to be St. Patty's Day. St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day is a, very, but my favorite March holiday is Holi, which is the Indian celebration of spring and love and new life. And there's just all the colorful powder and they do I think liquid dyes too. But yeah, they're just, everything is incredibly colorful and bright and amazing. And there's dancing and singing. And it's just such I don't even want to say party because party kind of lends itself to the, we're all going to hang out at somebody's house and get drunk. So, oh, we're having a party. No, we're just having a celebration. And I love that. I don't have anything we're doing this year, unfortunately, for Holi because of commitments. We're too busy in the community to actually go and dance together, but it's still really cool to see it. They usually have one up at the local university, and they don't do the powder inside, which is good.
Yeah, that sounds like a mess.
Yeah, it's a huge mess. So they're
Feel
like,
like
we're not going to do that, but we're going to do a lot of lights and we're going to do a lot of dancing. And Marnie and I learned, well, I should say we watched and tried to participate in some Indian traditional dancing. We're not that talented, and I don't think I remember any of them, but it was still a really good time. And I need to celebrate spring and new life and color in the world because, oh my God, I need more color. I just
Yeah,
everywhere and not green. I don't want to wear green. Okay, I'm good with green and gold, y'all. I love Wisconsin. I love
I
that.
can look out my window
Oh,
right now and I can see in the garden out here that we actually have yellow crocuses that have bloomed.
nice.
So
That
that's
come up.
really
All
cool.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's kind of
nice.
nice.
We
Yeah,
have
just
snow.
stuff like that. You have
We have
snow.
snow, snow and dog poop. It got up to 50 something on Friday, and I was going to be outside all day or at least part of the day on Saturday. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be hot. It got down to 2 Friday night,
Mm.
but Friday it got really warm. Everything melted. The back deck is down to like maybe a half inch or an inch of snow and ice, which means you can see all the dog poop. That my dog will not walk into the yard, but stops on the deck and poops on
You
the
know, there's
deck.
other dads listening right now that are like, I can completely
Yeah, either you
feel you,
feel me,
Danny.
you feel me, you feel me, because I did not. I've never experienced this. I've never had it, where the snow hides all the poop and then suddenly it shows up the first day. I'm like, and we have people locally, and I applaud them. Everybody's willing to do these. What is going to be well, I'm not going to cuss, a garbage job, let's say, a poop job, and literally they're like, you want me to come by and pick up all the poop out of your yard? I'll do that. I'm like, I do want you to do that. Actually, what are you charging me to pick up
He's
my
an
dog poop?
entrepreneurs.
Entrepoopers. Oh, yeah, nice.
Entrepreneurs, yes.
Entrepoopers. So,
But yeah,
this is your
that's
job. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
exactly. And it's a nice
Cut
side
grass.
hustle.
Shoveling snow, cutting grass, and picking up poop.
Yeah, there you go.
And I have to say, if you do that once for somebody, they're gonna call you back if you did it well. They realize, see you out there with a bucket picking up all that poop, and they're like, "Yep, this is worth every penny." You know, it's you have a good solid customer base once a year. You got that going.
Get a power washer to be able to wash it all off the rest
Hmm.
of the way too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I have one that I got specifically because of that. And the house is old and it needs to be power washed. I mean, it's like that old aluminum siding and
Yes.
it's not pretty, let's say, but it definitely gets covered in dust and cobwebs and everything else. And again, spring cleaning actually is a thing because spring is a different season as opposed to in Georgia. It just is less wet, really.
Yeah.
It's about the only thing. But
Well,
I'm wanting to start seedlings in my basement.
oh yeah, you
Get
should have
some
started those back in
lamps up.
February, man. Get them going.
Again, difference in Georgia and Wisconsin. That's a thing. But
True.
I
That
want
is
to have
true.
that set up for next year because then I have things growing and I can look at it and go, you look at it, look at what it's doing. It's amazing. And I'll feel better about spring
There you go.
waiting until it'll be April or May before spring gets here.
Well, a couple other special things that are taking place. One, this is Development Disability Awareness Month. Also, two, this is National Women's History Month, which also coincides with two other special days. You have the International Women's Day on March 8th. And then also, two, you have, where did it go? I lost it. Maybe that's the one I was just looking at. Yeah. I guess there's an International Women's Week, which is March 8th to the 14th. International Women's Day as
Is
well.
the 8th. Starts
Yeah,
that
it's the
week.
8th.
Yeah. The first day of that
So
week is
which is interesting too, because like being in the brewery industry, there's a lot of breweries that will bring like a group of women in together, whether it be somebody, maybe like all the local female brewers will come together to brew a special beer or something along those lines, and they'll release that. Sometimes they've done it like either they'll do it beforehand, depending on things, and have it actually release on National Women's Day, and then others will be on brewing that day and then it'll release later type of deal. So it just kind of depends on what it is, but it's always interesting to see like what they come up with. And usually money that is used like to buy beer and stuff like that gets donated to a special cause or something along those lines. So something to keep an eye out for if you're somebody that likes craft beer and looking for ways to just be able to support other things like that. We mentioned St. Patrick's Day. Along with that, coming right up after that is International Whiskey Day. Yeah. So all of our whiskey dads out there probably are, they enjoy that
it's
for sure.
International Hang Out in the Yard with Your Dog and Drink Whiskey Day. That's
Yeah,
what the official title is. Just hang out.
exactly.
Because your dog's going to leave you alone, pretty much. I mean, they might have to chase a ball or whatever, but it's not like your kids or your partner. I'm just
No,
saying, dog's a little more
definitely.
understanding of quiet time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other one that's so there's just a couple others like that are kind of there's some fun ones. And then so you've got Finishers Medal Day, which, kind of to go with that, like you've got the Dad's Run that you can sign up for as part of Home Dad Con and participate in
By the
that.
way,
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
5K coming up.
So there's that. There is also I think this one's funny, an absolutely incredible Kids Day, March 19th. So March 19th, create an absolutely incredible Kids Day for your kids. I
You
don't know
just
about you.
celebrate how amazing and wonderful these little
Yeah.
goblins are.
Watch the movie Yes Day and get all kinds of great ideas. I guess is how that works. My kids are very much on that. Can we have a Yes Day? I'm like, I've watched that movie. It's crazy. No.
Yeah, we can have a yes day with limits. How about that? We
With
can have,
major limits. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
$20. We can have whatever you're doing. If it's $20, if it's 21 or more, we're not doing it.
So, and then the last day of the month for March is International Transgender Day of Visibility. So, which more and more, I feel like every year I learn something new about just that community and the folks there, and just trying to be more observant of, just kind of what's going on in people's lives. So that's the whole idea of, knowing what these different days are is, to kind of broaden your, intellect.
Horizons. Yeah.
So,
And I know that with International Transgender Day of Visibility, that's of course near and dear to my heart. But the organization through our rad shirts actually makes donations. A part of the sale of those shirts goes to TYEF, which is the Transgender Youth Equity Foundation, I think. And I
Yeah.
apologize if I screwed up y'all's name. And I was hoping to get one of their leaders to come on the podcast and just, have a conversation with us. So hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have had, I've been trying for a year. So, and
Oh,
they
wow.
want to, but they're busy kind of. Yeah, so they end up, yeah. Oh crap, I forgot about that for 2 weeks. And being neurodivergent myself, I'm like, oh yeah, that happens. You just kind of fall out of space and time, and you come back and go, oh crap, yeah, I had things to do. Oh, this
Yeah.
banana's already brown. How did that happen? So, but yeah, we have a
So
lot
yeah,
of big things going on this.
a lot of big things, definitely. And you have to keep an eye out for the newsletter because a lot of that stuff will get put in there as well. And that's really the way to keep connected with
Mhm.
what is going on. So yeah. So that's what's kind of the rundown for the news of the month
Yeah.
for
Well,
things. So
that's the national stuff. That's the big holidays. But of course, we have one event coming up we have a couple events coming up this event for the network.
right,
But the big one being for our paid membership, our town hall,
which is March
and
11th.
March 11th. You got it. Yep.
Yep.
And it's kind of later at night. That's fine. I can stay up. It'll be like, well, could we do it during the day? And then a lot of people, are like, I don't know if we can make it. I'm like, well, more people could probably make it at night if they take the time off. And so it's going to be, I think it's 9:30 Eastern.
So
And
who's all in attendance of this
cool.
town hall and how is it functioning, Danny? Because I feel
Well,
like you would know this.
I should know everything about it. I don't know everything about it though, but I know a lot about it. The first thing is when this idea came up, as all good leaders should, I stepped up and said, Kiernan, you look like you'd be a great person to handle and host and put this together. Thanks. And it was an idea that they did present to the board. And the idea is just to kind of be more open and transparent about stuff. We're trying to reach out to people. We're telling the membership this is where we're going to be. There are going to be, questions after we make our announcements and everything. But we have a lot of stuff that we're going to go over at the retreat that we want to talk to people about and let them know this is where our ideas are. There are some changes. We've made changes in the past year that people may not be aware of. We make announcements of these things, but it seems like people miss the announcements somehow. We don't know how to fix that because we put it out on all of our main groups, our Discord group, our Facebook group, and an email. And people are still like, I never heard of that. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. We're trying, but we are going to do our best to be just there and open and talk about what we've done in the past year, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what we're going to continue, what we're going to stop, and things of that nature, and just where we're going from here, because this is our 30th convention, which puts us at a very important pivot point. And the number of dads that we've had come in the last 5 years or so has been huge. After COVID, a lot of work from home dads and stuff like that. So we're going to have all of the board members there. Everyone is expected to attend. Any of our membership that wants to be there, of course, please do. Or send us a question. You have an email and we have a return address. You can just email that to us. We've had a couple of really good questions come in so far, and I'm looking forward to answering them or seeing how Chris answers them, really. So there's backup. And we have an MC. We have Matt Strain's going to come in for us because he does a lot of stuff with DadX and he's got a little bit more familiarity with things. So he can just watch the questions and the chats and stuff like that. And just reach out to all of our membership, like any
Yeah.
town hall, like with any company or corporation would do. So yeah, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. This is where we want to go. It's not the same as it would be for a corporation because we don't have like shareholders or money or any of that. But it's still a work in progress, and it's something that we want all of our membership. If you're interested, you want to know more about it. That's where we are. We're there. We're there for specifically that. Ask us questions. Let us enlighten you, or sit there and go, I do not know, but I'll find out, because that's
Yeah.
probably going to be more likely.
I was thinking about it actually. One of the things that like my church does I think it's a once a month basis, they do a meet the pastor Sunday. And it seems very kind of like that. Like anybody that's new to the church or, as in this case, the organization gets the opportunity to kind of come into this meeting. And in this case, like anybody can come to it. I mean, it doesn't have to be just new people, but be able to come in and just kind of hear, like you said, what's going on and then ask questions. And I think that's great. I think that's something that is not, it's not happened really, the only time you really get to go into those kind of situations is if you go to Home Dad Con in the past, like you
Mhm.
would have the opportunity at that point. So I'm very excited to see what it's going to be like. I will be actually that day, probably coming off of anesthesia from having surgery on my feet that
I
day.
need you
So
to show up and ask a question. I don't care what it is, but I want to hear it on anesthesia. That's what I want.
so bad, dude.
Danny, I'm
I
singing
just
happy
need to
birthday
know.
to
I
you.
just need to
Okay,
know.
buddy. It's not my birthday, but I appreciate it. Yeah. I love people in anesthesia. They're
Can I just
so,
pop in and
so
be like,
much fun.
"Happy birthday, Mr. President"?
Yes. Yes, you should do that. I'm sure it'll embarrass the crap out of Chris or at least confuse him. That's exactly what I
Yeah,
like.
it could definitely confuse him. He's a young man, so but yeah, so that's I think that is going to be just a good time for a lot of people to get some information. I feel like there's always guys that come in and then they're like, "Oh, like this is a functioning organization, not just like a Facebook group." Wow.
Yeah, that one kills me. Oh, I thought we were just a Facebook page. No, we're how do you
Okay.
not see all the stuff that we're well, again, it's
It's all good.
the algorithm.
I forgive you. Just do your due diligence to do your research. That's the main thing. So,
Hmm?
so yeah, so that's coming up, and then also too, I miss in some ways. This is the one thing I kind of miss going to, but at the same time, it's a give and take. You got the board retreat, which you guys will be going to Chicago to check things out. Which is always great because then you get little sneak peeks of whatever you guys snap photos of and toss up there for everybody to get a
Mhm.
look at. Which,
Yep. Get to walk
from
the
what I understand,
hotel,
yeah, walk the hotel, check out different rooms, maybe see some of the sites in the area, type of deal. And
plot out the 5K route.
okay,
Probably walk
nice,
that and just to see what do we need? How are we going to get from A to B or A
right?
to Z, I guess.
Especially in a very busy city because
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
bit different than the last two cities that we've been in.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a bit more
We're going to need,
challenging.
more volunteers to just stand on the corner and go that way. No, you turn right here. Go that way. So,
I just
yeah.
figure we just are running towards the Navy Pier and then turning either left or right and going up the lake shore and coming back is pretty much my thought to it.
I'm not going to say that's a good or a bad idea because I'm not planning the route.
Sure, I get it.
That's definitely
But
up to Kyle mostly. I think Kyle and then I think Chris is still in that too.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, he does a great job of coming up with the routes and keeping it safe. So I have full confidence that he will get that
yeah, it'll be
squared
nice.
away.
And it'll
So
be cooler than the last one, which is very important for me.
yeah, definitely, it could be. It could be. You just never know.
I really hope so. October in Chicago as opposed to September in Texas. I'm going with October in Chicago. That's where I see
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so we've got a lot of things, like you said, to walk and to look at. Go down to the local restaurants, find out places, because a lot of what we do, I don't know, this place has a good deal. Well, are they
Yeah.
any good? I mean, how do we know? I mean, it's a good deal because it's garbage food. So yeah, so that's actually a big part of it too, and it's just a lot of logistical work that we do. Like we come in on Friday, and Friday is more of a social time. We do walk around, we'll tour the hotel, we'll find a restaurant, we'll try some local places and eat together. And that's amazing. And I love that part of it because it's like a mini convention.
Yeah.
You get there. Now it is, of course, the people you're working with the most. So you know them a little bit better. And you might be irritated with them because they're not, they're the vice president. All they do is sit there and stare at you instead of getting their work done. And I get that. But yeah, Saturday is a long day.
I
It always
cannot
is.
I cannot lie. I definitely at least two of the board retreats. I know that especially right after lunch, I have definitely passed out and been elbowed by people on
Mhm.
either side of me. Like, hey, like I can't
Yeah.
help it, man. I'm
I'm
dying
droopy.
here. I'm
Definitely.
dying.
And you stay up late because you're hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
And you probably get up early. I know I will be
Oh
because,
yeah.
making breakfast for everybody and things like that. And then you stay up late again. And by Sunday, you're burnt out. I mean, you're ready to just go back to bed. And
Yeah.
I'm driving down and picking up Dale Van Valera in
Okay.
Illinois. So I'm going to pick him up and drive over to Chicago. And we were talking about our Sunday night because we have a group on Sunday nights. And I'm like, we're going to cancel that. So, well, I think maybe I could get home in time. I'm like, you probably can get home in time, but you're going to stay up really late 2 nights in a row. You're going to get up really early 2 days in a row. And Sunday you'll probably get up early too, so you're going to be tired.
Yeah.
And normally I will cancel anything I'm doing Sundays. I don't care how close I am, but usually it's a flight or something like that. But even with the drive, yeah, I need to sleep. I need to just miss that. As soon as I get home, I'm not going to be ready to help anybody do anything.
Well,
But
there's a lot that goes on at the board retreat. I mean, you guys go
mhm.
through so many different things, and it's a lot of business. Not a lot of, not as much, on the fun side of things for sure.
Mhm.
But I know that, you know, there's always the trying to get to, hey, let's go out and have a meal together. Let's, just even like wherever you're at. I know Matt Strain and I went, I think it was Milwaukee. He was just like, I just need to go for a walk. I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. I will
Mhm.
join you
Yeah,
and just go for a walk for a little while
yeah.
and,
Not even
stuff like
talk.
that.
Just buddy up and
Yeah.
just cool your jets.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you guys are getting that opportunity to do that. And it's very important just for the cohesiveness of the organization,
Hmm.
especially the board itself.
Yep.
I just heard
Yeah.
thunder out my window. That was weird.
Really.
Oh, wait. No, wait. That wasn't thunder. They blew the bridge up downtown in
Oh
Cincinnati.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it was.
yeah. Cool.
There's a bridge that connects Newport, Kentucky and Covington, Kentucky, and they blew it up. That's what that was. Oh
Hmm.
my gosh. I'm only 12 miles from it, but boy, it sounded like it was right outside my window.
Yeah.
Anyway, holy cow. I wasn't expecting that. So yeah. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Oh, so yeah, so March has got lots of things going on. The other thing too, I think this would be the last thing before we sign off is spring break. And I think that, depending on what your year's already been like or if you've got anything planned or not, spring break does not have to be some big crazy trip. Spring break, if you are getting the opportunity to spend some quality time with your kids, just, at Christmas break, you've got a couple weeks there type of deal is just an opportunity, especially now that it's, warming up hopefully in your area to be able to get out and do some of those fun things, Like I
Hmm.
find that spring break to me, like as much as I enjoy going on trips, going and just getting into the woods and hiking is a great time because
Yeah.
the woods are waking up, and so you have the opportunity if it's gotten warm and then it's gotten, rainy and everything else, you might find some mushrooms. You never know. Like that's kind of a cool thing. Or you might just, be able to walk around and do some, just looking around for wilderness or, wildlife, see what kind of
Hmm.
things are running around because that's going on too. So that's for me, that's probably one of the fun things that I really enjoy about spring and especially spring break is just being able to be like, all right, kids, let's throw on our, boots. Let's head out into the woods, take our walking sticks with us because it's going to
Yeah.
probably be a little bit muddy and see what is, coming out of their hibernation.
And letting us come out of our hibernation.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really just spring is so much more important here than it was in Georgia. I mean, just yeah, spring is coming. Spring, we can finally get outside. And I'm like, yeah, actually, that's true. You couldn't do anything unless you were indoors. That's not absolutely true. Of course, we work outside, and there's a skating rink that was just a field, and they
Huh?
put some berries around it and poured water in it,
Okay.
and it's a skating rink. And I'm like, where did that come from? And Marty was like, oh no, they just put it in. They just pour water in there, and there it is. We have and then it'll just melt in the spring. I'm like, this is amazing.
That's
So
cool.
it's been pretty cool learning about a lot of the winter stuff. I'm fine with it. I love the winter and I love the snow, but my family's done. They are tired of it. They want to go outside. They want to fly a kite. They want to just run around in the grass. It doesn't matter. Play some volleyball, whatever we can do. And I would love to be able to take them for spring break to some place hot, but
Mm.
it's not going to happen. So they're going to have to just sit here and we'll read and I don't know, stare at each other all day. Get very boring.
I say what popped into my head when you're like, yeah, like my kids are, they're about this or they're not about, that side of it or whatever. What jumped in my head was Chunk from the Goonies. I love the dark. I love the dark, but I hate nature. I hate nature. It just fits.
Mhm.
Oh, but yeah, so I think that just hopefully anybody that's getting the opportunity to go enjoy a great trip, awesome, have a blast. Hope it's a great time. Post pictures. We love seeing, just what the dads are doing out there with their kids. And if you're sticking around and doing something more local, enjoy that as well. And, that's basically just, have a good time. And
Yeah. Kids spell love Time. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
exactly.
Just do it with them.
And then, count down those days until Home DadCon, which are 200-ish. So
Oh, yeah.
it's getting there. So, which, by the way, if you haven't bought a ticket yet, haven't gotten a hotel situated yet, jump on that, get that done. Like I said,
Get
with
your
it being
poop in a
200,
group.
yeah, with it being 200 days, definitely get things lined up, because you do not want to be behind the 8 ball when either trying to find a roommate or, whatever that looks like. So
This is the year that we're going to sell out on stuff. This is the year that we're not going to be able to, we're going to have to tell people, no, I'm sorry, we don't have any more. We don't have room. We don't have tickets. We don't just, you got to get on it now, guys. Get on it.
definitely. So get on it. But yeah, that's all we got for this show. We will be back next week with a guest and talking about what they're going to be presenting at Home DadCon. And until next week, y'all have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.